Hello, welcome to the info session for Spring Break in May 2022 Immersions. My name is Ann McGinness. I work on the Immersion program with Jarell Cisan, Shelby Smythe, and Molly Turbeck, our intern. I'm going to share a little bit about what you might have missed if you weren't able to attend the info session. Here we are. Here's our team, as I just mentioned. And our first spring break trip coming up is the North Carolina Immersion, which focuses on the textile industry and fair trade labor through an awesome organization that we're just starting to partner with in North Carolina that has fair trade stitching and good working conditions for all the workers in their factory. And that one will go over spring break along with a trip to the US-Mexico border with the Kino Border Initiative. We've gone with Kino many times, and it's a fantastic trip. It's a small group that gets to speak directly with migrants and their families crossing the border. In May, we're going to go on our Honduras immersion, which is our medical immersion. We provide a medical brigade to about 7 different villages in rural Honduras. And we also do crisis mapping with Dr. Swearingen, so from political science. And then our other trip is the Camino Ignaciano in Spain. This is the first time we're walking the pilgrimage in conjunction with Xavier University and Creighton University. And so we're really excited to have this big group of about 31 pilgrims on the trail in Spain this May walking. There will be a car following along to carry big luggage items and if anyone gets injured. And the other place we're going in May is Boyle Heights, Los Angeles. This is to work with some of the organizations that Father Greg Boyle set up for people who are getting out of jail, Latinos who might have been in gangs and are trying to start a new life for themselves. We did this one virtually last year and it went really well. And our last trip is Appalachia, which we've gone to many times. We work with the Catholic Worker in Appalachia. Jeannie is our host, and we learn about mountaintop removal, the coal mining industry. We learn about energy and resources and the environment. And it's a really fantastic week. So the May immersions are not for seniors because you will have graduated from the university before the trip departs. So you're no longer considered a student here at the university, unfortunately. But the spring break ones are open to seniors. So what is an immersion? It's a comprehensive program that includes preparation, usually about 6 Thursday night meetings that take place from 9 to 10:30 at night. And there will also be a retreat beforehand where you will bond with your group. It's usually overnight. And then there's an optional commissioning mass if you'd like to join us in the chapel for that. The immersion itself is anywhere from 7 to 10 days. The pilgrimage is a little bit longer because you have 2 additional rest days in Barcelona at the end. We really try to build relationships with our host organizations, families, and other people from other universities who we might meet on the trail, for instance, with Camino Ignaciano. So post-immersion, we consider actually the most important part of the whole immersion experience, and that's when we gather for a day-long retreat at the Jesuit Retreat Center, where we unpack our immersion and what it means for our life. So here are our 5 core values: living simply, social justice, education, community, and spirituality. And just to give you a little definition for each, living simply is realizing the importance of simplifying our lifestyles and finding fulfillment in simply being rather than having. It also means putting less strain on the Earth's resources. So for us, that means not having our cell phones for a week, so unplugging from the internet, to allow ourselves to be more present to the people and communities we're visiting and more present to the other John Carroll students in our group. Social justice, engaging in social justice and social action efforts with the goal of becoming part of eliminating injustice for all. We go to the margins and we are constantly forced try to see the world through their eyes. It's a rare occasion where we get to go somewhere like Honduras, a very rural village where they might only get to see a doctor once a year. And that's when the John Carroll Brigade comes back. So sort of imagine what it might be like to have diabetes and be dependent on that yearly visit for your medicines and your medication. Education, examining economic, historic, socio-political issues that affect people and the environment globally. We take education very seriously. We ask everybody going on the trip to read a small book before they go to educate themselves about their location and the issues they're going to find there. And community, which also means building sustainable relationships with people, communities, institutions, and the environment. So community is our John Carroll community, as well as the community that we are visiting in location. And with the sake of the Camino, it's also the, other pilgrims you meet on the path. Spirituality is diving into our interior life to understand our experiences in a deeper way. We define spirituality using Karl Rahner's definition, the sense you make out of life. So we hope at the end of the night, you will be willing to gather as a group and reflect on what that day is meant for you. So spirituality means asking the question, how was I affected today? What conversation struck me? Did I see God today in any of these conversations? Or how am I feeling moved to maybe change my major or change some part of my life that I've wanted to change for a while? And so we'd hope that you'd be open to a willingness just to gather and sort of process the day together at the end of the day. And next is just some quick details about each trip. Here are the dates for the North Carolina. The cost is $600. And here are the issues that we'll be tackling. US-Mexico border, it's a cost of $1,200. And those are the dates there. Appalachia, we have $400 cost, and some of the themes we're working on. Honduras is a little bit longer, cost is $1,800. Boyle Heights is $600. That's the flight to Los Angeles. And the Ignatian Pilgrimage is $2,500 with slightly longer days, the 22nd through the 4th. And financial aid is available with all of our trips. We really, really encourage you to apply, even if those prices do not seem reasonable to you. We have financial aid money to give away. We have 2 full scholarships for each of our immersions that we're going to give away to high need students. But in addition to the full scholarships, we give away a lot of partial financial aid awards to students who might need it. So if it was your dream to always go on the Camino or to always go to Honduras, we would hope that you still apply, and we'll try our best to work with you for a price that works. So there's an optional 1 credit course offered for all of the immersions that happens after the experience, so the semester when you get back. It just consists of sort of 3 night meetings to process what happened on the immersion and to think about what sort of advocacy project we could do on campus. So how could we educate our fellow students about what we witnessed? COVID-19 vaccines are required for all people traveling on the immersion, and there are no medical or religious exceptions for these particular immersions. So the vaccine is a must. We will teach you during our very first kickoff meeting, which will be December 2nd, about personal fundraising that you can do, group fundraising, how to use your Honor Pathway Award, financial aid, and included in these costs is everything. So preparation, retreat costs, flights, food, lodging, travel, and international travel insurance if you're traveling overseas. Everything's included except immunizations, which are optional. So if you just choose to receive additional vaccines for, say, yellow fever or something like that, that would be optional and on you. Passport is mandatory, but the cost is yours. And then any spending money you should need. So the groups are led by student coordinators, and then 2 faculty staff liaisons from John Carroll come along. And we also work directly with a partner in location. So each of the locations we mentioned, we have a guide on the ground that is doing the organizing of the immersion. And that's how we intend to be safe, is that we really have fostered these relationships with our partners over the years and trust that, you know, if they say it's safe to go, then it's safe to go. And we trust them that they would call off the immersion if it was not safe. If there's an emergency at home and you don't have your cell phone, because, you know, your group has decided to put them away for the week, there's a 24-hour hotline. So your parents can always get a hold of the faculty or staff person with your group. They can always get a hold of me or Jarrell. And we always call down and contact. And likewise, you can always get a hold of your parents should there be an emergency. You don't have to speak Spanish, although it's always a bonus if you do. How do you apply? There is a link to the application on our website. If you just look under John Carroll Immersions, it's also on our Instagram account. And the application is due this Sunday by midnight. So October 24th by midnight. And you'll be asked to do a short interview the following week. So I hope you have enjoyed the presentation. If you have any questions, feel free to send me an email, amcginess@jcu.edu, or Molly Turpek, who is our intern, can also answer a lot of the questions. And we thank you for your time, and we hope that you'll consider going on an immersion. They're truly life-changing. They're really transformational. So please consider applying.